What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and as usual, we're going to be going over the charts. Guys, I've been warning you of this for well over a year that we could be seeing a major market crash. And also in the past, if you watch all my videos, I was telling everyone that if the traditional markets go into a bear market, which Bitcoin has never seen, Bitcoin would not be able to hold up. And that's what we're seeing now. How low could it go? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to actually give you some dates that should be pretty close if the Amazon compared to Bitcoin chart that I posted on December 2nd, 2021, before anyone was talking about it. We'll talk about that a little bit. Also, in the end of the video, we're going to talk about BNB. As you guys know, the Binance chain had some issues yesterday. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you a chart that I posted back in May and kind of a little bit of proof of, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. The news, I believe, is just noise in all of this. Like you can see, the job reports today turned out better than they were supposed to. So everyone expected a pump, right? What did it do? It is dumping. Not to say it can't reverse by the end of the day, because Fridays, sometimes you'll see that, but we are in a bear market. It's less likely to happen on Fridays like it does in a bull market, a traditional bull markets, right? They try to rally it at the end of the day, which they may, but it may go much lower before they start to do that rally. But anyways, my whole point is we keep an eye on the charts in this. And no, we don't just look at Bitcoin. That's not how you do it, guys. You got to be looking at traditional markets and the DXY. I've stressed this for a long time. So let's get into it. Let's see what the charts are telling us. As you guys know, we've been watching this big falling channel. In the bottom of this, if we were to get there today or Monday, would be around 28.3. Of course, this could take a lot longer. This could take weeks going down to 28. But what my point here is, once this bottom trend line breaks, guys, if this does not hold, it's going to be bad news for the traditional markets and also very bad news for Bitcoin. And again, we're going to look at all that. So where are we at now? We also had this rising channel in here. We have a measured move of that breakdown at about 27,000 points, maybe a little bit above. But if we do come down here, obviously we have to break this bottom trend line first. I expect a bounce there, come back for a retest before a continuation down. And the measured move of the breakdown of this is 23,000 points for the Dow. I do have a theory that it could go much lower and be much worse, but it's not doom and gloom, guys. This is how markets work. This is where opportunity lies, but most people get scared and they miss out on the opportunities. So if it does have a big, major, massive crash and you're in cash, you'll be able to buy the bottom. Now, I've talked about this also. Usually when the traditional markets are getting ready to crash, the DXY goes up. You can look back at every crash prior, all the way back to 1929. You can look back at 2008. The dollar rises because everyone's getting into the dollar. Everyone that's smart and understands markets gets into the dollar, and you'll see the inflation and everybody getting feared out of the dollar while the smart money gets in it so they can have a high value dollar, right? And buy everything when it crashes. So say when the dollar was lower, right? And they would have bought stocks high. As that goes down, they lose tons of money. But if they hold on to that dollar while the dollar is rising, markets are coming down, you get a lot more bang for your buck to get in at the bottom or near the bottom. You're probably never going to catch the absolute bottom of anything, but get in towards the near the bottom. And it doesn't mean it shoots straight back up, guys. It could take, if you look back at 1929, it took like 40 years or more, something in that area. So all them people at the top never got to see their money get back where it was because it took 40 years. But then people at the bottom for 40 years just got to make money. So just something to think about and look about. A lot of people don't talk about that stuff. I think it needs to get out there. Please share this video if you would. Make sure you smash those thumbs up before we continue on with the video. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of the theory. You can wait to watch the rest of the video so you know what I'm talking about. Also, whatever you would like to see in the charts on Monday, leave like we're doing BNB at the end of the day today, or at the end of the video today. So whatever stock, or just throw the ticker down below. and whoever gets the most requests, that's the one we'll look at on Monday. So let's take a look at what's going on. So if we do come down here and get a bounce at the bottom, we may bounce around for this for a little while before continuing down. But if it does come back up here, it could retest the top or the bottom of this rising channel first, which would be around 31.3, depending on how long or if, when, and where it did come back to retest. Not saying it has to retest, but you can see here, every time we break below the median, we usually come back up. This time we didn't come up very far. That would make sense if it happened to get everyone bullish. Exit liquidity, guys. I don't believe in the news, like you guys know. I don't believe in when they tell you their report numbers, and they can tell you whatever they want with those numbers, right? To make you do whatever they want you to do in the market to take your money. I've been talking about the biggest money grab in history. I think that's what we're in. I could be wrong. If my mind changes or something in the chart changes, I'll let you know. But this is what we're looking at right now. And if we came down to test this bottom trend line right here, we've had 2 touches already on the bottom. If we came back down here sometime into next year, would be around 21,000 to 21,500 points, right? Let's take a look at this. This on the right is the Great Depression, 1929. You can see I like market formations. You can see the formation here. We had a higher high, higher high, higher low, or lower low, lower low. Same thing we had over here. Same market structure if this was to happen. But this would be a huge multi-generational buy zone. This could be, a year. This could be 5 years if it does play out. But let's take a look at something over here. We're going to go from this high to this low to this high on our Fibonacci extensions, right? Let's put those on there. And we're going to take a look at where that bottom was. That bottom was it was below the 1.27, right? Fibonacci extension. Let's do it over here. Let's say this was already this played out, just a lot smaller version. Let's see what that number would bring us to. The 1.217, right around the 23. So that could be where the bottom is, possibly. Well, other than that, it gets much, much worse. So let's look at 23. Now, where was that? Over here on the other chart. Right there, 23. That's our measured move from this. So this could be the bottom here. We'll see how reactions get there. This might be a great buying opportunity. Maybe the stock markets go back into a big bull run, but this will probably be sometime towards the middle or end of next year if it does happen. Let's take a look at the DXY. You guys know I've been bullish on the DXY. We can move this resistance or support up now. Let's move it up to here around 110, 110 to 110.50, right? If we were to come back down quick and hard, this was where I would expect a bounce, because every time we've hit this, we've had a massive bounce. But what I wanted to point out is this yellow line right here. This is the 55 EMA. And people have asked why I use the 8, the 13, and the 55, or 8, 13, 21, and 55 EMA. Reason being, those are Fibonacci sequence numbers. That is why I use them. Look up Fibonacci sequence if you haven't, but that's why I use those. They're very accurate. You can see their support and resistance. When they cross, it's a big deal. We're getting ready to cross over right here. The 21 EMA is about to cross. So next week, if we are up in here, it's very bullish for the dollar, guys. And if we look at my daily dollar chart, right, the DXY, we broke out of our rising channel. The measured move of that is 122.15. I know everybody's talking about 120, and they make it sound like, this 120 was the last time we were at these levels. That's incorrect, and I'm going to show you in the bigger time frame. This will be the first point of rejection, in my opinion, and we may get a big pullback after that before continuing up. But as you guys know, this matches up with the market crash. Also, I showed the bond, U.S. 10-year Treasury bond. Yesterday, I posted a tweet on it. It's looking the same. I'm not going to show that in this video to kind of save some time. But here's a major trend line, which we've broken over here, right? And we know this. So if we do come up and get a big rejection here at the 122, everybody will say the dollar's dead again. And we get a bounce past that. Once we get past this and get support, my next target, guys, is around 178 to 180, which is a measured move of this falling wedge. I've been saying this for a long time. Not saying I'm 100% correct, and none of this is financial advice. I'm showing you what I see in the charts. Do with it what you will. At least learn how to chart by watching the channel. You can go back and watch all my videos prior and see how the targets hit almost exact. Yeah, before we get into Bitcoin, definitely check out Prime XBT. By far my favorite exchange. They don't trade against you. They do help support the channel. You could use my promo code SAVVY50. That'll get you up to $7,000 bonus. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off your fees. You can trade the Dow, S&P, gold, silver, oil, pre-markets, everything all from one exchange instead of having to switch around. You can do your crypto there, Forex, whatever. Definitely check them out. I do have a link down below. Definitely use my link. It'll get you in to get my promo codes in there. And yeah, just check them out, guys. By far the best exchange, in my opinion. You never get the canceled orders, none of that crap. Your orders hit. I've never not had one hit. So anyways, let's look at the weekly. So the weekly, you can see on the BRVP here, we put this over our major resistance levels, right? We are getting rejected there at 19.7 right now. This is the weekly, guys, and our weekly measured move falling out of this rising broadening wedge is 14.5. Still looking for that 14.5. Been looking for it for a while. Just like when we broke up here, right? When we broke this one up here, we were looking for this 25.5 and we nailed it. These don't happen in a day, guys. They do not happen in a day. You got to be patient for the big trades, the big payouts, not the little daily chart doing 30 trades a day. Swing trading, guys. Wait for these points to break. And then we were watching here. We knew once this broke, what was our target? 17.5. Bam, nailed it. This breaks. This obviously has already broke. Our first measured move is 14.5. Doesn't happen in a day. Then we have the 8,500 range. That is where I believe we could see a false bottom. Possibly the end of this year. Maybe we won't see that. Maybe this will be the end of this year. Maybe we won't see this till next year. I know everyone believes in the 4-year cycles. I think that's all about to be crushed. And if that happens, that will explain a macro bottom in the length of time it takes to break new all-time highs. If it does ever break new all-time highs. A lot of people don't like to hear that. I'm not saying it won't. I'm saying there's no guarantees. All these people tell them, just keep buying, you'll be fine. Will you be fine? Will you be fine if it doesn't get back up there? Again, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not being negative. I'm actually giving you guys a different way to look at things that might just save your ass. Take it how you will. So anyways, if we do, this could be our bounce area for this year, the end of this year, get a little rally up, come back down and see this next year for our false bottom, get a big rally from, 75 or 8,500. We'll take a look at it in this chart. Actually right here. So we've watched this chart since December 2nd when I started talking about it. I actually made a video. At the end of the video, you'll see it up top above my head. Click on it, check it out. It is from December 2nd, 2020. But what we have is people are saying this is an Elliott wave count. This is not an Elliott wave count. I just put the 5 waves in there. It is a bubble pop pattern, right? Let's just call it the savvy bubble pop pattern. And it's playing out almost identical. Even the time frames. These are both weekly charts. We had the big ABC that we talked about forever now. Big correction right here, which got a new all-time high, which was just a trap for the bulls. And then every pump after that has just been a trap to make lower lows, just all the way down. And I've talked about how that worked. And I told you how this was going to look and how it was going to play out. And so far, everything is playing out perfectly. Guys, I'm just trying to help here. Everybody thinks I'm negative. I'm always a bear. Look at what's going on. in all the markets. We've seen this coming. We've talked about it for a very long time. So what happens if it plays out? The approximate dates and prices between 75 and 8,500 might not happen until around March if it plays out in the same time frames, right? February or March. Get a big rally, get everyone bullish. It'll be 100% rally, but if you look at it in the big picture, it's not that big. But would be a great place to get back in and ride it up and take profits on the way up, guys. And, hold some if you think it's going to continue. It may continue from there. There's no guarantees that it's going to play out exactly like this. Another thing I wanted to mention, what invalidates this chart? Well, a break of the 55 EMA breaks this whole theory for me. And right now, if it was to go up straight today, which I highly doubt, would be around 31,000, right? So this gets lower and lower as the weeks go on. Once that breaks, then we can start looking at an actual bottom and maybe start looking at getting in a hodl position if you are that type. So anyways, if this happens, would get everyone bullish and then only to make a lower low. And if it happened in the same time frame, would be around August, September, October of 2023 when we see the real bottom. Now, does that mean we shoot straight to the moon like a lot of people are going to be telling you? It's possible. Unlikely in my opinion. As you can see here in the weekly RSI, once we broke this weekly RSI, everyone got really bullish, as you can see, before a continuation down. Same thing I think is going to happen over here, approximately around this. Oh, you might not be able to see that. Approximately around this February or March, if it plays out in the same time frame. And then come up, everyone's going to be extremely bullish, only to come back down and retest, just like we did back here for the true bottom. So this could be a major, major opportunity, guys. And like I said, it doesn't mean it goes straight to the moon. And reason being, this took 10 years to break the all-time high. Now, I have showed you in the past, like Nintendo had a similar, almost identical bubble pop. Sony had almost, and they've been 15 and 20 years and still haven't reached their all-time high. But the good thing is they did keep rising. There's lots of money to be made in here, right? If this happens this way, this will, obviously if you get in down here, this isn't going to hurt too bad, but this could be from the bottom, the absolute bottom, October 01 to October 03. So that was a 2-year run, but as you can see, it only made it up about 50%. Then it came back down quite a bit, about 50% of the move, and then continue up. So the markets don't necessarily move straight like this every time, especially after a bubble pop. So just be aware of that, be cautious. And let's take a look at the daily. So the daily, as you can see, we're staying within our triangle, wedge, whatever you want to call it, in the RSI. There is still a possibility we get a push up here to retest this one more time before coming down. So keep that in mind. Although we could be finished here and go straight down, and we'll talk about it. Yesterday, I think I forgot to go into the 4-hour chart. Guys, one more time, just a reminder, smash that thumbs up if you're enjoying the video. Share it if you would. If you belong to any groups, get the video out there. But as you guys know, I've been looking at this as a falling wedge. We have broken the white falling wedge trend line. So there is a bullish case possible to get a rally bull trap to the upside. And we'll take a look at those targets also. So let's take a look at that first, and then I'll show you my view of the bearish side, which I believe is more likely. But let's take a look at this. So if this breakout was real, which the volume is suggesting it is not, we would go from where it broke right here. That could get as high as 48,300, right? Definitely a possibility, something to keep in mind, although I don't think it's going to happen. And then if we go zoom in here, we're looking at this falling triangle right here, descending triangle, whatever you want to call it. Now, if we are able to break that, what are our targets then? Well, we're going to zoom in for that in a second, but first let me show you on the daily. So our target there would be around 35.8. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible. We would have to break these highs first. But anyways, if we do break this 18.2 at any time, which I think is more likely, that target gets us to 3,500. Now, I have talked about the possibility if this could all end this year, it would be a huge capitulation candle, and that would be sometime in the very end of this month, which seems unlikely, or sometime in November to test the bottom of this wedge. And then that would mean if we got down that fast that it could be the bottom this year. I think that's a lot less likely, but it's a possibility. We take a look at all possibilities, right? So right now, where is this trend line? So we can move this down to where we're at today, which lines up at the 55 EMA around 20,500. Possible we could get a big wick up to that and continue down, but watch for a rejection there if we do get there. Basically, your trade areas, let me show you real quick. Let's go into the 4 hour. I know this kind of looks messy, guys, but it makes sense, especially if you've been following around or following the channel. So let's take a look here. So we're getting a bounce off the white trend line again. Once we open and close a 4 hour above or below this, I think we can confirm a downside, start confirming downside targets. We also have this rising channel in here. Now the top of that rising channel, let me get the RSI off of there. We can see. So the top of this rising channel, which is within the bigger descending triangle, right? Take a look at our targets here. So if we are to break the top of this, open and close a 4 hour above it, first we have to break the 20,500, 20,600 range, right? Yeah, 20,500, 20,600. We have to break that range. And then we have the top of this rising channel. And that's going to be around 20,900, 21,000, somewhere in that area. If that breaks, we open and close a 4 hour above that, then we can start looking at the measured move target of a break of this rising channel, which usually rising channels break down. We could look for as high as 22.6, right? And then we would look at our bigger bullish targets that I showed you on the daily. But nevertheless, this is as high as I would see this going if we do get a big pump up here, and that would line up with this old high pretty close to it. So just something to be aware of. But as you guys know, my targets are down here. Once we break the 18.2, I think we get down to that 17.5-ish, maybe get a bounce back up, retest the bottom of this triangle and go. But your major trades should not start until a break of at least this 20,006 or break of this 18.2. Everything else in here, if you want to day trade it, have at it, do what you do. But for big profit opportunities, these are your areas to watch for an actual break of this triangle. All right, so let's take a look at BNB. This was a chart I posted, RIP BNB, on May 8th. And as you can see, I'll zoom in there. This was posted on my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter if you don't. It's at CryptoSavvy1. Beware of the scammers. If you scroll down in the comment section, I will leave my social links and stuff like that in a pinned comment. But I had told you, and at that precise time, it was $357. $357.20 to be exact. Right before this broke, and I told you, now let's look at where that chart's at now. That was right here, and it broke, and look what happened. Now we have targets here. I'm going to show you the bullish case and the bearish case, right? So looking at the daily, we have a trend line here. If this daily trend line breaks, it's bad news for BNB, right? Let's get the RSI off there. Take a look at what's going on. So no major moves unless we break out of this possible ascending triangle, right? What's the bullish case for that? Well, if we do break that, and I'll tell you where the top of that is. So that is, and guys, patience is where you make the money. It's not, I'm not a believer in day trading. I think it's just spending time in front of the charts, trying to play too many trades. Swing trading is the way to go, way less stressful. Just be patient, wait for the breaks. So this is around 30 or 337 bucks, 337.20, right? So if we break that, we end up breaking this, the measured move to the upside would be approximately 500 bucks. But first it would have to break this trend line here. And depending on how quick it got up there, it's around 425 bucks. So a break of this, a retest, that would be a good long position. Now let's take a look at the bearish side. The bearish side is if it breaks the bottom trend line here, and right now that's around 275. What would that target get us? Around 100 bucks. If we did hit this, break this, we're gonna probably have a bounce here, and that would be just a measured move from the center of this, looking at it as a possible head and shoulders, right? That one would be 158. So a good place to short would be a break of this trend line. Put your stops above the trend line. As time goes on, you may have to move them up just a little bit to stay above the trend line for a retest and a continuation down. But 158 would be my first target of a breakdown. Probably get a nice bounce there, maybe take a couple weeks, whatever. And once that breaks, then I'd be looking for 100. And we also have lower targets down here. As you can see, around 42 bucks and 27 bucks. Sounds crazy, right? Well, people said that Bitcoin would never go below 20K too. So, and that's just the VP right here. These are levels of major support. And what is that? That's before the money printing, right? These targets are before that. So something to be aware of. And also, 19 all-time high was there, was at 42. So I would look for support at these levels if these break. But the first target there is going to be 158. Next target 100. If that 100 breaks, I'm looking for around 42. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm seeing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just know I'm only trying to help you guys look at the markets as a whole, not just staring at one asset and trying to figure out what's going on. There is a big picture at play. There is big money controlling all this, all of it, no matter what anybody says. That is my belief. And I do believe by looking at the charts as a whole, you can kind of get a grasp of what's going on in the big picture. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget, smash those thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you tick that notification bell. It will get you notified when I post new videos. And leave your comments down below. Let me know what ticker you'd like to see on Monday's video. Take it easy, guys, and I'm out.